Welcome to the debate. Our tactical eye test from yesterday's chaotic 3-2 England victory over Mexico at the Azteca showed us exactly what Tuchel's system is really made of. I am arguing this was, well, a masterclass in gritty, tournament-winning resilience.
And I am completely pushing back on that. I mean, welcome back to our channel, but we are all about analyzing the actual structure here. And structurally, that was a cowardly, passive disaster. We were absolutely panicked and got bailed out entirely by pure individual brilliance.
Bailed out? Look, elite tournament football is about ruthless efficiency. It is not about possession. I mean, Jude Bellingham hits a rapid double strike in the first half.
Completely against the run of play, though.
But that is exactly the point. You strike when the window opens. And more importantly, you know when Jarell Quansah gets that red card, Tuchel does not freeze. He immediately pulls Bukayo Saka, brings on John Stones as an extra center back, and patches the defense. That tactical shift stabilized the line that was suddenly a man down in one of the most hostile environments in world football. That is just pragmatic survival.
Wait, hold on. You are completely ignoring why Quansah got the red card in the first place. My eye test showed a fundamentally broken shape right from kickoff. Javier Aguirre's high press was completely suffocating our buildup. By pushing their wingbacks incredibly high, Mexico isolated Declan Rice in the center of the park.
It was a tough environment.
It wasn't just tough. It was a structural collapse. Rice took a yellow card 60 seconds in because he had literally zero passing lanes and had to make a cynical challenge. Going up 2-0 early actually masked the fact that we mapped out a terrified tactical retreat instead of even attempting to control the tempo.
But dropping deep into a low block is not a terrified retreat. When you are facing that intense red and green tidal wave of pressure, abandoning expansive possession is a feature of the system, not a bug. Think of Tuchel's setup in that second half like a ship sealing its watertight bulkheads. You intentionally sacrifice the outer compartments, the midfield possession, the wide areas, to keep the core penalty box completely intact. It is pure survival.
No, those bulkheads were leaking heavily long before they intentionally sealed them. The evaporation of that midfield structure is exactly what caused the red card. Because we retreated so deep, we surrendered the entire middle third. That left the center backs constantly exposed to runners. Quansah's challenge on Jesus Gallardo wasn't bad luck. It was the inevitable panicked result of a defender whose midfield shield had completely vanished.
Even as we concede that the midfield was under intense strain, you have to acknowledge the cold, clinical execution the system still produced. I mean, Anthony Gordon gets cleaned out by Raul Rangel, and Harry Kane steps up to the spot and just completely slows down the heart rate of the stadium. He converts it for his 6th tournament goal to make it 3-1. That kind of composure is the hallmark of a resilient structure.
The penalty was clinical, sure, but if we actually evaluate his spatial impact in open play, Kane was a ghost.
He is a striker. His job is to score.
But he lacked the mobility to drop deep and link play. He actually exacerbated that massive structural gap in the midfield. He dragged our pressing shape down with his lack of tracking. And, we saw the immediate consequence of that fatigue and poor positioning when he gave away a penalty on Brian Gutierrez at the other end. That duality makes him a massive structural liability in this specific system.
Yet, despite that penalty concession, the structure ultimately held, which brings us to the upcoming quarterfinal against Norway. You've argued this yielding brand of football will be severely punished. But doesn't Jordan Pickford's spectacular world-class save against Raul Jimenez prove that we possess the necessary elite shot-stopping and low block density to frustrate a clinical killer?
Are you really comparing frustrating Mexico to stopping Norway? Jimenez still managed to score their second penalty, and we barely held on. If you bring a system that actively surrenders the midfield to a striker like Erling Haaland, he will literally tear that low block apart. Norway is specifically built to punish teams that allow them sustained final third entries. The Azteca showed us a blueprint for failure.
And I maintain it was a crucible that forged a team capable of weathering any storm. We both clearly agree that this match relied heavily on enormous individual moments, from Bellingham to Pickford. But our deep disagreement remains on whether that tactical retreat was a fatal structural flaw or a necessary survival mechanism.
Precisely. The true strength of Tuchel's system is incredibly ambiguous right now.
Well, the clash with Norway will ultimately reveal the reality of that scoreline. Thanks for tuning in to our tactical breakdown, and we leave it up to you to judge the tape.